Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my annual Q&A video, so I have collected quite a few questions from many of you and I'm going to answer hopefully all of them one by one, but I'm going to fly through as quickly as possible so that this video is not too long, but grab a coffee or a tea or a snack and just get comfortable. So here we go, in no particular order. First question, if you could just pick one bag to hand down to your daughter when she's in her 20s, which one would it be and why? I would definitely be choosing a Chanel bag because I think Chanel is just aesthetically beautiful, but also is a classic and will stand the test of time through the generations. This is the bag that I think of when I think of my daughter. It's the Chanel Mini. This is definitely not picking up how beautiful it is on camera. In person, it is so shimmery. So it's the mini square in the gold iridescent lambskin with the gold hardware. This is kind of a unicorn in my collection, and I think it's just a little bit different and special. So yeah, I think of my daughter, and my daughter, who happens to be 13 years old right now. She's quite petite. I know she's still growing, but I think she's going to have a rather petite frame, and this is a petite bag, and I could totally see her wearing this in her 20s when she goes out, dinners, date nights, special occasions. I could also see her wearing this at her bridal shower or wedding. I know I'm getting way too ahead of myself, but this gives me like bridal vibes. I would also consider the jumbo. She happens to really like the jumbo. I think she just likes the word jumbo. It's a huge bag. It's not for every day, but it is quite practical in that you can put so much in it. It is the black caviar, which will make it much more durable than the lambskin, and it's a single flap, which has since been discontinued, so I definitely would want to hang on to this for her. And with the crazy price increases, you know, there's no way that either one of us is buying this, 10 years down the road, so I would want to hang on to this one for her as well. Next question is Hermes related. Are you planning to buy another Hermes quota bag? The answer is no. I actually did a video about this not that long ago. I will link it up above if you're interested. And what are your thoughts on the Mini Kelly? I think the Mini Kelly is really super cute, but two reasons why I would not buy it. I did have a chance to play with it and try it on, and the Mini Kelly is cellier, meaning that the stitching is on the outside, so it's got that more rigid, structured look to it, which is really pretty and polished. But this is the retourné with the stitching turned inside out. I do prefer this more soft, relaxed look on both bags. It's just easier because it makes the leather on the sides more pliable. So I don't love the rigidity and the firmness of the Mini Kelly, especially on such a small bag. It is hard to get in and out of. And the second reason is because I do have the largest iPhone Pro Max size, and that does not fit inside a Mini Kelly with a case. I tried it and it was just so tight in there. So there's not a whole lot you can put in there, but I think it's really cute. I'm just not going to buy it for myself. Do you feel at purse peace these days with your luxury collection since you've shifted focus to up-and-coming and contemporary brands this past year? Well, I would say yes, I feel purse peace, but I've talked about my definition of purse peace. I feel like any kind of peace, regardless of if it's purse peace or job peace or whatever, it's something you have to constantly maintain, and it's a delicate balance, right? So I am not chasing any new bags. I don't have a wish list. You guys know I don't actively shop for new bags. I'm actually actively avoiding going into a lot of the boutiques because I don't want to unnecessarily be tempted, because I feel that I have a full closet of beautiful handbags that I can focus on enjoying and using forever, really. I don't need any more bags. But because I do have a YouTube channel, I really do enjoy showcasing up-and-coming brands and also fashion trends and what's happening with the big houses. It's just an area that I personally enjoy, just like some people like interior design or sports. So I will always be looking, and I will always be happy to have a discussion about other brands and designs out there, but I personally am feeling quite content and have been for a while. But I just brought out some of the bags that I have showcased over the past year or so. Here is my Polène Numero 9, and then we've got Parisa Wang, which is a New York-based brand, and this is the Micro Madison bag, super cute. And then you've got this fuzzy little teddy bear that is from Simbono. This is the Vienna bag. And then of course I have to show you my bag from Ateliers Auguste. I actually have a couple of bags from this brand now, and I find that their bags are just really minimalist and quite easy to wear. But even before I started my YouTube channel, I always ventured into up-and-coming or lesser-known brands, so I've always been someone who has enjoyed a variety of brands and never focused just on high-end. So here's another brand that I have featured in the past. I got this years ago while I was traveling through Barcelona. It's a Spanish brand, and this one is so adorable because it is meant to look like a book. And you guys might know I'm an avid reader. I love books. I can surround myself with books all day. It's my favorite hobby to read. And so this bag is super cute. The point is, I'm not looking to add anymore. I'm not looking to grow my collection, but I do introduce lots of different brands because I have a channel here and I enjoy doing it. You guys know, if you've been here a while, that I will do giveaways. So I might receive gifts from certain brands and I will do a thorough review. I will share my honest assessment, pros and cons. And if the bag is either not working for me or it's repetitive with something I have in my collection, I've been giving them away to you guys, just sprinkling giveaways throughout the year just to make it fun. So kind of sharing the love. Next question is from an OG subscriber of mine. Her name is Jackie. Hi, Jackie. She writes, I've bought every bag you mentioned on your YouTube and I never get disappointed. Why are you so always on point? Thank you for saying that. What's the rule of thumb you use to be able to provide us with great suggestions every time? My latest is MZ Wallace. I bought everything. I'm so impressed. Will you ever launch your own brand? So I think Jackie's being overly generous with her kind words. I don't always get it right. A lot of times I will purchase something and I find that it doesn't work for me, so I will either return it or I will sell it. I've done that. You guys have seen how my handbag collection has evolved over the years. But I think in general, I am quite picky, and I've gotten a lot of critique over the years for being too picky, but I am picky and selective about how I spend my money and time. If I'm going to spend my time and money on it, I'm going to research and I'm going to look at every nook and cranny and examine it from as many angles as I can. And whether it's expensive or more affordable, I'm still going to be pretty picky. So I have, I guess, my personal standards. And maybe that's why when I present something as a recommendation, many of you do trust my judgment because you know that I've been thorough in research. There are times when something works for me really well, but it won't work for you just because we are different people and you might have different preferences or different lifestyles. So I only share with you what I think you might like, but of course you all have to do your own homework as well. So this is my latest MZ Wallace travel bag and it is so good. I love it. I love it. And I know many of you have already bought it and you also really quite like it. So I'm happy to hear that. Will I ever start my own brand? I don't know. I don't really have any expertise in brand marketing or production. I've really been enjoying my collaborations with Dress Up Your Purse, which is a small business owned by lovely French woman named Melody. And she has allowed me to get creative and brainstorm ideas around the pochettes and some other smaller SLGs that we have been producing. Well, she's been producing, but I've been giving her details on what I think it should look like and feel like and colors and things like that. So yeah, it's been really great. Maybe I will have a brand, some kind of brand down the road, but I feel like this is my brand, my YouTube channel. That's how I see it, that I pour myself and my personality hopefully comes across and I put my time and energy and heart into this channel. And this is kind of the brand that I've created. Okay, this next question is super hard. If I had to choose just one bag to carry every day, which bag would it be? This is not very practical to pick one small bag like this, but if I had to pick one of my high-end designer, quote-unquote luxury bags from my collection, I feel like it would be this one because this is versatile. It's small, it packs all my essentials. I can wear it to date nights and evenings and special occasions, but I can also wear it very casually with a pair of jeans and put this chain crossbody. So if I am forced to choose one right now, it would be my Chanel wallet on chain. I think this might surprise many of you, but my answer might change tomorrow, so don't hold me to it. Of course, I would need to have a bigger bag because not much is going to fit in here, but I would just do like a simple tote like this. This is the LV canvas tote, cotton canvas tote that my friend gifted to me when she went to the LV trunk exhibit. I think it was last year, and I wear this all the time. It's so comfortable and easy and very roomy. I'd probably stick something small like this inside here. And so if I needed to go from day to night or dress up in the middle of the day, I can just grab this. Okay, next question is, what's your biggest lesson learned on your handbag journey? What a privilege to even have a handbag journey, right? First world type of scenario here. Biggest lesson that I've learned is that I can really enjoy my handbags much more if I'm balanced, meaning that I don't restrict myself too much and feel deprived for, holding myself back, but I also don't splurge and go overboard so much that I feel guilty for consuming so much. So it's a delicate balance, and I feel like I have quite a lot. I have more than I need, more than enough. So I'm at a point now where I feel like I would only introduce another high-end designer bag if I was letting one go. In fact, I actually did let one go recently, a big one. You're not going to see it in this video, so I'll do a follow-up video if you're interested on which bag it is and why I sold it. Leave me a comment down below if you want to see that. Gosh, another hard question. If you were only able to have a total of 5 bags for the rest of your life, what would you choose from your current collection to be your forever 5? So I'm going to start with the 3 that I know I would have a really hard time letting go, and they're all Chanel, so please don't come after me for this, but I just really enjoy the aesthetics, the look of Chanel. So the Walk, the mini rectangle in this beautiful caramel brown lambskin, and then my jumbo. I would have a really hard time letting these go, but it's not practical to choose these 3 if I can only have 5. I think I would choose probably one that's easy, low maintenance, with no really glaring designer elements to it. Maybe something really simple like this from Atelier's Auguste, and it's kind of like, not in your face. It's simple enough that I won't get sick of it. I probably would not choose anything from Louis Vuitton. I wouldn't do Monogram or Damier Ben. I wouldn't do that kind of very Louis Vuitton canvas because I think I will get tired of it. Or maybe I would choose this one, which is my most discreet Louis Vuitton bag. It's the Speedy BB, which was a seasonal bag. And it's got the monogram, but it's so subtle. So to me, it's just a black bag. But then I have too many black bags, right? So I'd probably be I'd have to have more time to answer this question. I think my answer would change based on each life stage. 10 years ago when my kids were babies, I would not choose these as candidates. And I think I would want at least one larger tote. So yeah, but as you can see, I gravitate towards my Chanel bags. Speaking of Chanel, the next question is, does one need a Chanel in her collection? Is it really worth having at least one? That question came from Nadia, and Nadia, I'm going to say no, absolutely not. Nobody needs a Chanel bag. And if you're not into Chanel for whatever reason, then don't waste your hard-earned money getting any bag from any brand that doesn't speak to you. Also, if you're asking the question, is it really worth it? I'm thinking you probably have hesitations and you're leaning towards it's probably not worth it, or you're doubtful if it's worth it. And again, if that's the case, regardless of what the bag or brand is, I would pause, flush out those feelings. And if the feelings remain, then don't add a Chanel to your collection. What tips do you recommend buying pre-loved Chanel, Goyard, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, etc. on websites such as Gilt or Rebag? They give descriptions, but sometimes the pictures may show more wear than expressed in the description. What other sources do you recommend? So this jumbo I did purchase pre-loved, which I'll talk about in a minute. I also purchased this Celine classic box bag from Fashion File, this one actually. And I have a few other pre-loved bags. So I would say, for starters, I've only purchased on Fashion File or Rebag. And then I've purchased from consigners and resellers on Instagram, and I'll share their information. So Fashion File, this one, I would say definitely zoom in on the photos and rely on those much more than the description, because I have gotten screwed in the past where I purchased a Chanel mini square in the raspberry red color and they did not disclose a very important detail, and I had to go through all this drama, and then I eventually returned it because they would not remedy it for me. So look at the photos, and if you don't feel that the photos are adequate, then reach out to the company and ask for more photos. I believe they will email them to you and provide additional information. But yeah, this one I got in excellent condition for a really good price. Celine, for some reason, doesn't hold its price on the pre-loved market, so I got this for a really good deal. This one I purchased from Instagram, and the reseller's name is Jazz. She's on there as Rouge Street Bags, and this is actually one of 2 bags that I got from her, although the second one I don't have anymore. But I think that when you purchase from actual human beings versus large websites, you have a lot more interaction, you can ask more questions, you can ask for more videos and photos, and the prices are usually more competitive because they don't have huge marketing budgets and a big staff and big overhead costs. The other reseller that I absolutely adore is Elma from The Guru Edit. She is a personal friend of mine, and she specializes in Chanel and vintage Chanel, and as well as Hermes. Next question, should a pre-loved bag be cleaned or sanitized before using? That's really up to you. There's no should with these things. I will say I purchased this one also from Fashion File years ago. It's over 20 years old, vintage Chanel classic flap in the medium size, black lambskin with the flat silver CC. I did do an antibacterial cleanse, but then I made the mistake of putting another product on top of it right away, which was like a hydrating product. And it caused me to freak out actually, because the beautiful shine that you see here, this sort of like glossiness from the natural oils, it disappeared. And then I had to research on the internet to figure out how to reverse the damage. Not that it was damaged, but I had to restore it, and I was able to do that. So thankfully it's okay, but I would say be very careful if you're going to apply any product, especially to delicate leather like lambskin. Don't have to be as careful if it's like pebbled leather or caviar or Saffiano leather, and you certainly don't have to be as careful with coated canvas. Like if you're just going to wipe this down with a water wipe or a non-alcoholic wet wipe just to clean off the bacteria, I think that's perfectly okay. But I will say this, there's research out there that says that 95 or 99% of handbags have bacteria on them, but this is the same kind of bacteria that we have living on our skin. So the studies show that the bacteria, they're not pathogenic, meaning they're not going to cause diseases. I mean, unless you happen to buy a handbag that was put like on the floor of a disgusting public bathroom. But I think most people who have designer handbags try to take care of them and wouldn't do that. And if you are worried about that, maybe just clean off the bottom here. But yeah, it's up to you. Next, have you ever considered adding a Loewe bag to your collection? Yes, I actually made a video about this recently, so I will put that here. And then the next question was, just watched your video about the Loewe puzzle bag, talking about the spider web effect. Would you share your opinion on another popular bag, the Issey Miyake Bao Bao bag? So I think this bag is interesting. It's got that sort of geometric, foldable, origami type vibe to it. It's looks like thick and kind of metallic. I've never really been attracted to it, but I think it's kind of interesting and cool looking if you're into that look. Okay, how do you take care of your designer bags, particularly storing them when rotating bags? So I store all of my bags in their dust bag if they came with a dust bag, unless I use it pretty often, then I don't bother putting it in their dust bag because I just want to grab it. This is my toy Lulu, for example. I usually put the strap, if it's detachable, rolled up inside. It keeps it tidy, you won't lose it, plus it keeps the inside packed enough that it won't get crushed in the front. I usually put the accessories inside the bag with some air paper or stuffing like tissue paper, and then I place it in the dust bag, and I always have it sit upright like this. I don't have any of my bags laying down or on top of each other. Nothing is going to get folded or creased. And I have a tiny little New York City sized walk-in closet that is all for me. My husband has another closet next to it. So I walk in and there's all my clothes on the hangers, and then I've got some of my shoes on the bottom, and then at the very top, at the top of the closet is some shelving that goes around kind of like a U. So I line up all of my bags in their dust bags up there. And then I also put baking soda and little moisture wicking packets all around in every corner because there's humidity here in New York and I don't want that to cause any problems with my bags. What's your recommendation for a work bag? So I have the Longchamp Le Pliage Tote. This is the small size, but it fits a lot, including a full-size laptop and everything. So if I were to be going into the office, I'd grab something like this, very easy, lightweight. That's what I need, lightweight, water resistant because we've got rain and snow and all of that happening here. And I do have a Zimoni organizer insert in here to keep the structure because I don't like saggy bags, especially if you're going to put something heavy like a notebook or laptop. So I think it's secure. You want to have a zipper of some kind because if you're commuting, and if not, you can do coated canvas, right? But I think that nylon, coated canvas, those kinds of really durable materials is what I would go for. And again, super lightweight, low maintenance. Here's my old, super old Tory Burch nylon work bag that I have abused over the years. I'm telling you, it has gotten wet and thrown around on the floor of my office. I've dragged it on the subways, and the nylon has held up beautifully. Look at the handles. These handles have held so much with the magnetic closure. So whatever the brand, I think it has to be durable, lightweight, and roomy and secure. This doesn't have a zipper, but it's got the magnet. All right, would you please review the LV Gucci bag? I'd like to hear your opinion. It looks like this. And I do like the epi leather and the silhouette. It looks simple and versatile. And I know the pochette Matisse is very different, but I would probably say it's probably just like a shorter version, right? I mean, not with all the compartments. I think the Gucci has a single compartment. But I generally like these kinds of silhouettes. Symmetrical, simple, classic, easy. So I think it's a nice bag. Are you ever worried about your safety when wearing expensive items out? I'm usually very, very, very aware of my surroundings. As a native New Yorker, I kind of know where I'm going to be and where I don't want to walk and all of that. I'm very mindful when it comes to my jewelry, my handbags, anything that you say expensive or that could catch attention, unwanted attention. I don't really worry though, because I know that if I don't feel safe, I'll just hop into a taxi or jump into an Uber or go into a restaurant or a public space. I know my way around here, but of course, if I was traveling, and you guys know when I do travel, I don't really bring a lot of my nice bags. I'll just go really simple and do like my Uniqlo nylon bag, Lululemon belt bag, simple totes, things like that, because I want to be able to focus on enjoying my travels versus looking around to make sure I don't get unwanted attention, right? So yeah, I think you just have to be alert and aware. But I tell my kids that all the time, and they don't wear designer. I'm like, when you're walking around, be alert, look up, don't be looking down, don't be distracted, don't be looking at your phone, right? That's probably the rule of thumb. Next question is about my nail polishes. How many nail polishes do you own? I believe I have 28 in here, and I intentionally store them in here so I can limit myself. I've promised myself I will not buy any more nail polishes until I use what I have. So this is my vanity case that was repurposed out of a Hermes dust bag. Pretty cool. And voila. Okay, and then a few questions asking about my face. May we see your face? Why don't you show your face on YouTube? By the way, I love your voice. Thank you. And why do you have so many hand movements and gestures in all your videos? It's so annoying. Just show your face. I do talk with my hands. It's a New York thing. I'm very expressive. I am like this in real life as well. And I cannot help it. Sometimes you'll see me do this in videos because I'm trying to restrain myself from moving my hands. So thank you for bearing with me. I don't show my face mainly because I do really cherish my privacy. And especially as I live in Manhattan, I'm raising 2 kids here. I would never say where I live, where my husband works, where my kids go to school, and I don't want to show my face because I walk around in very crowded public areas such as Central Park or Fifth Avenue or all the shops, and I don't want that kind of attention. All right, so as I go through the last few remaining questions, I'm going to clean up and multitask. So the next question is, what inspired you to start a YouTube channel, and what year and month did you start? So the very first video that I uploaded was on October 4th of 2019. So we've just celebrated a 4-year milestone for this channel. I started this channel with the encouragement of my husband because at the time I was pretty stressed out and life was very serious, my job very serious. So at the time I said, I just want to loosen up, have fun. And my husband felt like I was taking life too seriously. So he said, why don't you start a YouTube channel and just talk about whatever you want? And so, yeah, that's how it all began. All right, this is kind of a related question. Why did you choose to share about bags on your channel instead of something else? So some of you may already know the answer to this. It was either going to be about handbags. If it wasn't handbags, I was going to do personal finance content. And I just felt like that too can get kind of heavy and serious. And since my job was also feeling like that, I decided to go the fun route. But as you guys know, I'm really passionate about financial empowerment and literacy, and I have a whole playlist titled Money and Mindfulness. So I do sprinkle in that kind of content from here to here, but the core content is really fashion and luxury. How do you edit your videos on your channel? So I used to use YouTube Studio, which really sucked. It's really clunky. Now I have the iMovie app, and it's very easy. So I would recommend iMovie if you're looking for a really simple editing tool. I don't do anything fancy. Would you ever consider going full-time on YouTube? In the past, I've said probably not, but now that YouTube has become a bigger part of my life, possibly when I'm ready to retire from corporate, maybe this will be my main thing, but I've always had multiple things going at once. So I don't know if YouTube will ever be like my one and only. I think I'll also have other side hustles and different hobbies. So yeah. What are your time management tips for best productivity? I am productive, but I don't think I have a healthy way about it. I grind, I hustle, I am always on the go, and I think I need to do a better job of slowing down and resting and getting better sleep. So I'm probably not the best person because I am still struggling with balance. But I do write a lot of things down. I'll write a list in the morning. I will write a list in the evening just to clear my head. I have a journal. So I do stay quite organized. And I think organization is a huge part of being able to get things done throughout the day. How much time do you spend making YouTube videos each week on average? I'm going to say about 10 hours or so, and that does not include my time replying to comments or answering questions. So that's purely coming up with ideas, setting up to film, actually filming, and then editing the content and then uploading it so that it becomes live. So I'd say about 10 to 12 hours on average. Are you influenced by sustainability in leather goods? Yeah, I think so. I'm not really a big fan of turnover in trends that basically entice people to constantly buy and discard their previous items. I'm really much into buying quality items and enjoying them as much as you can before they wind up in the landfill. So in that way, yes, but to be honest with you, when I'm looking at a new handbag, for example, I'm looking at the functionality and I'm looking at the aesthetics and how it feels and if it's going to serve a purpose for me. I don't think like I'm going to seek out the most eco-friendly, sustainable brands available in the universe because I just don't shop that way. I probably can do a much better job, but I want to give you an honest answer. Last few questions. Does your channel still bring you joy? Yes, definitely. Otherwise, I would have stopped doing it a long time ago. Biggest change in mindset after 4 years of YouTube, that anything is possible. That if you feel you don't have the qualifications or the experience or the right skill set, but you are interested in doing something, starting something, such as a YouTube channel, just go for it. There's not that much risk involved except your pride maybe and your time and energy. Just go for it and see how it goes because there's no way that 4 years ago I would have thought we would be over 45,000 subscribers strong, that this would be an amazing community that I interact with every single day that is a big part of my life. There's no way. When I uploaded my very first video, I was like, oh, I hope one person sees this. I hope somebody watches this. And look where we are today. So that's the biggest mindset change, to have more optimism and not be afraid to take chances. And another question that I love is, what is your dream or goal? So dream would be to grow old with my husband, to see my kids get married and have kids of their own, and to become a grandmother. I think that is a huge privilege to be able to live out your days and watch your loved ones create their own lives. Goal, I am planning some things around my job and also on the investment side. Maybe I will clue you in to those later on down the road, but I also don't really enjoy talking about things unless I know I'm about to get it done. And I'm not quite sure yet. I'm in the early stages, so you'll have to stay tuned. Lastly, one of you said, thank you for all the time and hard work that you put into your videos. Thank you for watching them. I love them all. What are your favorite books? What are you currently reading? Love all your content, especially your finance and book videos. So this, I will try to make dedicated videos talking about my top favorite books, my top finance books, some more finance topics that I will sprinkle in hopefully before the end of the year and through next year. So please be patient with me. It's probably not something I can answer in a nutshell right now. Thank you so much. I've cleaned up a little bit here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for asking me questions and taking an interest. Thank you for listening and watching this video, and I so appreciate each and every one of you. So if you enjoyed this in any way, please give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or additional questions down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.